Well, ladies and gentlemen, if it's not the big tech frenzy live once again here with another SoFi Green Day up 5.5% to $23.65. Now, I know if you were to look historically on this stock that it would show you that the stock price has been higher, but during that time in the past where we have seen higher prices, this was actually under the ticker symbol of IPOE, okay, which was Social Capital's placeholder for SPACing SoFi onto the market. So under the actual name of SoFi Technologies, this was the official highest close that we've ever seen in SoFi ticker history. Pretty interesting. And now I don't actually think that we'll have to worry about breaking past these highs as well. I mean, all-time high on any ticker symbol on this name is $28.26, which, if I'm correct, that'll happen potentially even in 2025. Based on next quarter earnings, which I think are going to be blowout numbers. But essentially, guys, very, very exciting time. Let me turn up the brightness here really quickly, and it should adjust. Yeah, maybe I'll turn that down. Who knows? All right. Tanner, no mercy. SoFi rules. 100%. 100%. I hate that the names have changed, and I don't know why. I've seen on other people's accounts that it's not the same, but it's messed with people's ats versus just putting the name that they want on their account. I don't know. So Piyush here is now just P. Anyway, completed my 1K shares. All right. YouTube notifications are always late. You're not late, fighters. Welcome to the party. Hopefully these names get adjusted because I've gotten used to so many of your guys' names the way that they were, like Aaron's here. But hopefully everyone's doing well. I came for the Lulu review. Yeah, no, for sure. I've been buying a lot of Lululemon clothing. So some people who are looking for social arbitrage and maybe wanting to find a company that might be undersold or oversold, undersold, maybe that's a name just based on my own choosing of clothing. I gotta say, guys, there is not a better article of clothing that I could have purchased for myself other than their t-shirts and their ABC pants. I mean, they're just insane. That's my Lulu review for you. That was from earlier today. Do the tights hold you snugly during the deep squats? No, they're not tights. They look like dress pants. They're almost like a chino. And then the t-shirts look like t-shirts. I don't know. You wouldn't even know they're Lulu. They're not branded Lulu. It just happens to be their brand. What about Patagonia clothing? I'm just not finance bro enough. I'm too I do too much yoga for that. So I gotta find the Lulu mix. I'm gonna make Lulu the new finance bro clothing line. Are you sure that it's Lulu that's oversold and not Nike that's overbought? Well, I don't buy any Nike products, so that could potentially be true. Go buy the Costco ripoffs. But you're talking about, like, whenever people think of Lulu, they think of female tights. I get that. There's no product at Costco for what I'm talking about. They have like athletic wear and dress clothes. They're not dress. I mean, you could definitely wear them as dress clothes, but they look like or they feel like dude, this is the lamest conversation ever. I'm realizing new people coming in are like, what are they talking? Tanner's talking about wearing tights? No. Okay. I'm just talking about there's stocks in the market. They're available as deals. Okay. There's always something to buy out there. I'm not currently purchasing Lulu, but I hear a lot of buzz about it. And so I thought I'd add my own anecdotal piece, which is just that I've been exclusively buying Lulu clothing over anything else. That's it. Tanner equals the man in tights. I mean, superheroes wear tights. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm someone special. Buy Lulu. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just, you know. Okay. So the allegations are going crazy right now. Let's talk about SoFi stock. I want to talk about Google and the potential for other companies investing in Google, or buying assets of Google's, like Google Chrome, maybe Perplexity. Anyone? I'm sure you guys have heard this today. If not, and you're just getting into the swing of the news in finance today, Perplexity AI, which has a valuation of $18 billion, put an unsolicited offer to buy Google Chrome at $34.5 billion. It's in my personal belief that they know that this is not going to go anywhere and that this is a publicity stunt. This made it onto every single news station. Everyone was talking about it. It's super exciting to talk about because, wow, there's a big change here. But honestly, I think it amounts to nothing. Potentially they could find the investors, something like this, but 34.5 billion, I don't even think is enough. And there's not a chance that they would sell it to a competitor like Perplexity, for example. But I think that this is similar to Mr. Beast going out and saying that he wants to buy TikTok. It's like, okay, well, that's a great post, but that's the end of that. And, you're not in the ballpark. And there might be an opportunity where Perplexity, utilizes Google Chrome successfully, or that Mr. Beast utilizes TikTok and makes that a better platform than what it was before. But the truth is that it's probably left in the hands of its current owners versus those choices. And if there was going to be a buyer, it'd be someone like Oracle or something like this for TikTok, or a much, much larger player than Perplexity on the Google Chrome side. Like someone like OpenAI, I honestly think would be able to put up a much more competitive bid than Perplexity. However, I don't know if it's a sign of a weak business per se. I think Perplexity is doing quite fine, but it is just trying to generate buzz. I think it's marketing efforts. Yeah. Google is doing very well right now. I mean, honestly, the stock people are very happy with. I'm obviously a very happy shareholder of Google. Their all-time high is $208.21. They're currently at $204.16. Okay, so we're quickly approaching these types of prices. You can see here on the 1-year chart how close we are to re-breaking into new highs after falling all the way down to roughly $146 per share. Actually, 142.48. From the very top, I mean, we're looking at quite a drop off all the way down to Liberation Day and then back up. I mean, that was the biggest black swan event in recent history. It's just so crazy that you can pick any stock and just find those lows on that day. Like, actually, you need to pick the big names. But it's just incredible that you can find the same dip in the same spot for every business. It was unbelievable. Uber, Microsoft, Reddit, Zscaler. No, that's the Dan Ives thing. All right. Yeah, for some of these, it was more serious, like Apple and Shark Ninja and stuff, because of actual tariff concerns. Other ones were just selling off with the markets. Have a cannoli. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate that. Appreciate the dono. But I will be covering Nubank earnings, of course, guys. There's unless I completely sell out of my position or something, which I have not trimmed or sold a single share since I've held it from the very start. I'm not going to be looking to sell out of my position for new. I mean, they're going to have to drastically miss or have a change in position or something along these lines that would make me buckle. Until then, whenever I hold positions like that, I'm going to cover their earnings. That's essentially the case, especially if you guys are holding those companies. There's some companies that I hold that you guys don't seem to care about at all. And then, yeah. If we send you dollars, will you model your clothes? Not a chance. Thank you, though. Let's see what else. So, I mean, for the most part, guys, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I've been covering, and if you haven't seen my deep dive on SoFi, it's just going to clarify so clearly why I think that this stock will continue to run. Another reason was the not just the APY boosts on SoFi Outwork, but also the amount that they're paying for referral just went up as well. And they started experimenting with, as SoFi Insider found, how many people have opened up a SoFi Invest account in the last week. As you can see here, they're showing off, 14,618 people have explored SoFi Invest in the past week. Cool. If we, sort of bring that out a little bit, over the 12 weeks of the quarter, we essentially see 175,000 new customers for SoFi Invest, which would be another high from where we were in previous quarters. So that's on brand with everything that I'm seeing from the ticker. I think that this goes even higher with rate cuts involved as well. I think that we're going to have a couple happy SoFi investors going forward. But mainly, like macro is one thing. The hopes for a rate cut, which is now sitting at 94.8% chance of a cut, and the highest percentage at 50.3% of 3 cuts by the end of the year, a 99.7% chance of a rate cut. 8.2% at 1 cut, 41.1% at 2, and 50.3% at 3 cuts. Okay? It's very interesting to see not only what people are expecting there, but also what that means for SoFi stock in general. I look at it being a very positive sign. Now, if we also look at the short interest on SoFi, we can check the NASDAQ SoFi short interest. This also ended up finding quite a low. No longer in the incredible rates that we've seen before. And by the way, this is including in the dilution. So whenever you think about the fact that we've increased the total outstanding shares by roughly 8%, and yet over this 1 month period, we've gone from 152 million shares being shorted to 133, now 112 million. It's been a while since we've had 112 million shares shorted in this amount. And by the way, this is well diluting over the last year. So it's definitely at a short interest lower than what we've seen in a very long time. Stock is comfortably holding above $20 per share. There's been a lot of commentary that fintech hasn't done very well over the last quarter or so, but that's not the same that can be said about SoFi and Robinhood as well. Both of these I feel very confident holding. And I can't tell you how excited I am to see the next roughly 6 quarters of SoFi. You end up seeing roughly 2 quarters left, which I think is going to be heavily focused on growth in members. And then for 2026, the next 4 quarters, we have what's expected to be a massive ramp up in earnings per share, expected between 55 to 80 cents of EPS, earnings per share. if they don't adjust that based on the dilution, at least not to a negative degree, they might actually adjust it to a positive perspective, because they said that that number that they end up having was just doing everything that they're doing currently, not adjusted to new products that they're going to be putting out. And I would put under new products a large piece of dilution capital raise that will accelerate growth or help on the bottom line, whatever it is. So I'm just insanely excited here. No, some people started sending me reports like SoFi margin has been around. SoFi Invest margin has been around for a while. Someone also sent me a report of SoFi's Pay in 4. That's another old product as well. These are not new. You may be seeing them in the app for the first time, but that's just, got to look a little harder. Donnie is giving me some key lime pie and broccoli. Hopefully I don't have to order those at the same time. Thank you, Donnie. Really appreciate that. Tanner had one more question. What's the name of the financial site that you're partnered with called again? Fiscal AI. It's in the description. They're a full channel, partner. So I use them for essentially everything that, like all my research on all my companies. Let's see here. JJ, Tanner, I blame you for not yelling more loudly to choose SoFi over PayPal. This is all your fault. Well, I would have used that $5 to go get yourself some SoFi to, help shift a little bit more over to SoFi instead. But instead, I will use your $5 to buy SoFi for myself. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thanks again. SoFi's management team has an incredible ability to execute. So impressive. My mouth just wanted to say incredible. So impressive. Noto is going to become a Wall Street legend. I think so as well. I also agree. $23.95. Is that in after hours right now? I know that they closed, or sorry, that's overnight markets. I know in after hours we closed even higher. 23.88 was after hours. If it continues to run into overnights, let me open up Webull really quickly because they actually have some overnight tracking thing. I just don't like their charts. Yep, we're at 23.96. I thought about a stream, which was going to be pretty risky, and I thought that a bunch of people were going to, treat it poorly. But if there was a time where we started to get near $30 a share, I was thinking about going live until we hit 30. But if there's some sort of event where we have like a black swan that like completely turns around the price and I'm live longer than, a few days, that would drive me nuts. But I think it would be fun to have a live stream that was incredibly long, like longer than 48 hours to ensure that a stock price is hit would be a lot of fun. Yeah. But in the case that it turns around, boy, oh boy, would that suck. And like we start heading down or Trump does some executive order that just poops on the stock. And then the next time that we hit 30 is, 4 months away. I'm not going to. So I don't know. I got to figure out how I'm going to do it. But yeah, I do want to do some crazy type of live stream to show my appreciation for you guys, for SoFi stock, for the community, because, it's made us a lot of money. And I love doing due diligence on this company. I like doing due diligence on this company more than I like doing DD on NVIDIA. And I love NVIDIA, but you can't find as many comparable businesses or things to research, or even I think just the disconnect. That's the thing. I think is a lot of people that cover NVIDIA that understand where it's going. The thing why I love covering SoFi so much, I think, is that there's just such a like I come on here and I ask for answers about what am I not understanding here? What am I missing? And they can't give me answers. And that I think is what I like. I don't know if we're pulling a Palantir move. I think that I'm not asking to be overpriced or something like this, or expensive. I'm asking to be adequately priced for a company that's accelerating growth and that the market is not expecting that acceleration in growth. You know, I don't know why well, I do to some degree. You know, Shopify and these sort of businesses are very, very big. So there's more analysts and more clients that hold those companies. So it's a much more important name to cover. But just the ability for Wall Street to do channel checks on SoFi is just irresponsible. I mean, they're just not doing it, and that's why retail looks so smart every quarter versus what they had to say. It's just because we're just looking at the numbers, we're following what management has to say, we're following the trends. You know, I don't know. They keep thinking that they have to go back and look at other businesses that have done similar things and say, oh, well, it's actually impossible for a financial company to grow personal loans past 15% of total market share. And then Anthony Noto goes, hey, we're actually not growing it and competing with the same customers. We're creating new first-time personal loan customers because we're consolidating credit card debt in a different way than any company has done previously. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. Okay, well, tried to explain to you. Management has said multiple times that it's better to look at the total addressable market of credit cards to see how big their personal loans can get than personal loans themselves. And for that, that's why you're going to see a larger percentage of domination in personal loans than any company has seen before. And I mean, look at student loans and look what we've done there, 60 to 70% market share of private student loans in our credit box. Don't say SoFi can't do it. They're doing it in another area. Bro is using Webull. I'm only using Webull because the overnight pricing. That's the only reason. I don't have access to Robinhood Legend, and Mumu has not changed it over, but I actually hate the charts on Webull. No offense to Webull, but this is just dang ugly. Yeah. But the highest close that we've seen, and let's hope that that continues. We're 4 days green in a row for SoFi right now. And let's hope that what happened last time, I think we did 15 days in a row, or there was one day in the middle where it actually ended up breaking it, but long streaks of green. As institutional investors that like to play the macro use SoFi as a tool to bet on there being rate cuts or not. The problem is that on the opposite side, there could be very hard times for SoFi in the future if there is worries about raising rates without even looking into SoFi's actual success, that SoFi once again will be used as a pawn in the macro. It's just we happen to be being used as, like we're on the bullish side of that trade right now. Let's see. Tell us how you really feel. Okay. Wouldn't you like to know, weather boy? Tanner, what price of SoFi will make you happy by the end of 2025 and then at the end of 2026? What would make me happy? I mean, I'd be very satisfied with a close in 2025. Honestly, I'd be happy with anything above 20, but 25 would be a really nice surprise. $28 would be great. At the end of 2026, I hope to close above, anything above $35 a share, I think would be a big success for me. But yeah, just breaking all like I'm not too worried about those types of, those hurdles. I never think of stocks that way. I just think of them as I need to beat the S&P 500. That's what I'm looking to do. And fundamentally, is the company staying strong? And if that happens, you guys don't need to worry about price. Like worry about the dollars and the cents sort themselves out. Like it's companies somehow just make you money if you focus on the fundamentals and buy them whenever they're cheap. I care about buying them, or I care about the price whenever I'm buying in and selling out of them, but not whenever I plan on holding. And right now, it's like I'm acquiring SoFi shares because I think that there's going to be a massive increase in growth. I have a video coming out tomorrow morning talking about, well, tomorrow, let's call it noon, talking about how I think that SoFi will have a version of a hood run. It might not be as severe because there still is that aspect of risk revenue that they end up having. But I think that we're going to see a real acceleration of growth, faster than SoFi's seen in a very long time, way, way higher than 2021, 22, 23. And so, yeah, I'm very excited about the growth on mode that they're in right now. I hope that they're headed over 30 soon. I think that would be pricing in some forward growth, but I also think that like we're in that market. We're in a market where companies are pricing in forward growth. SoFi should be a part of that. Yeah. Crypto and options coming very soon to SoFi. Absolutely. Now, I think that is exciting, but honestly, for the most part, SoFi has all the tools that they need. Level 1 options might be a big part of that, just to ensure that there isn't any churn, and that whenever customers do earn enough or bring over enough, that they have the tools that are needed at SoFi to not, grow up and grow past or out of SoFi. But yeah, hopefully that comes in time. I'm interested to see what they push out that they're not talking about. We haven't really heard them talk about the loan platform business for student loans or home loans in a while. They have previously, but not recently. That's going to be bigger than any level 1 options, crypto, anything like this, and it can happen in a moment's notice. So yeah. I also agree that I think that they should, like, I was going through Chime's June presentation, and I'm like, man, do you know how much I think that this would positively affect SoFi stock if they did one of these? And that I'm really bummed about, the fact that we don't have the data the way that Nubank gives data, or the way that Chime just did their presentation. Now, it might not be that way for Chime going forward. Like, I don't think it'll be this way on a quarterly basis. But if you guys ever want a little insight into what SoFi's potential market that they're growing into, Chime plays in a different part of the market, but it is also very similar. So you can go through this earnings presentation that they have, and it talks about what their goals are, what the TAM is, how they explain, or how they try to grow there. And the one thing that you're going to see, because I keep talking lately about SoFi getting into direct deposit, and some people think that that's a non-issue, or that we need to be talking about different metrics. Chime, you're going to see direct deposit and primary banking relationship pop up maybe 100 times in this presentation if you go through it. It's the only thing they care about. And the reason why SoFi and Chime and all of these businesses talk about direct deposit users is because they realize that direct deposit users leads to higher amount of cross-selling into other products that they end up having. It leads to, see 67% primary banking relationships, which is absolutely huge. SoFi's is nowhere near that. But yeah. They will hopefully get there one day. And then at that point, we're going to have really high average revenue per user and benefit from transitioning into that type of moat. But yeah, they constantly talk about how primary banking relationships leads to, daily usage, which leads to more monthly transactions, recurring spend, and which just leads to all, free transactions. Chime, because they have focused on primary banking relationships, has higher transactions than any of these other names like PayPal, Nubank, Cash App. However, they choose Nubank at roughly 20. And of December 2021, you're using Q1 of 2025 for all these names. You're using December of 2021 for Nubank? What? It's because Nubank would be very high if they actually ended up using recent data. So that I thought was a little bit cherry picked. Also, where's SoFi? What you'll notice is that whenever you go through this platform, they talk about unaided brand awareness, transactions per customer, direct deposit relationships. They compare themselves against big banks, against fintechs. They never compare themselves against SoFi. Very interesting. But they talk about attach rates. Like if a primary banking relationship, you get stronger attach rates depending on the type of product that you're giving out. And then as time goes on, how they've gotten that to be stronger over time. Like investors need to see this. And I'm not saying this to hype up Chime. Although I think it's a good company, I think that I like SoFi even more. But having this data would clear up a lot of confusion for, by the way, what are these numbers, bro? Chime at 41% unaided brand awareness. What are you smoking? I want to know the report that you ended up getting from this. This is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. 24% of people even know what PayPal is, with, by the way, 400 plus million active accounts, 800 million vaulted accounts, and yet you're at 41% and you have 8 million? What report is this? This cherry-picked data? I don't know what it is. It says it's from Time Magazine's World Best Brands. I don't care. That is jaded. Like the numbers just don't add up, you know? PayPal is 100x the amount of active, not active, 100 million or 100x the total amount of total accounts, and 50x the amount of active customers as Chime. Okay? But overall, I think that this is, once again, this is just talking about switching to direct deposit relationships the whole time. Very, very interesting. Also, customer obsessed technology company. This was the exact same thing that SoFi ended up highlighting, that, you know, there's all these companies that have reshaped a genre, and these are all the same handpicked names that, SoFi also chose. They also had DoorDash on there and a bunch of other companies. There was a music Spotify and all these ones. But essentially, it's the same thing. And I want to get SoFi back. Not like I can control any of this, but I'd love for them to talk about how they are a customer-obsessed technology company and remind people that they are amongst these names, that they absolutely can be. And I hope Chime a ton of success as well. But just the numbers they're putting up, the margins that they have, their goals are high. I mean, the TAM is there, and the expected margins that they'll get to is also high. But those are all completely available for SoFi and more as well. Yeah. I don't know. You can find this if you go to, blocks like Cash App. You go to Chime, you go to PayPal, even Venmo. They're all talking about Nubank. They're all talking about direct deposit relationships. And then look at how much SoFi is pushing SoFi Plus right now. And you tell me that the benefits are not going to back what they're actually are showing off. And their marketing efforts are so unbelievable. That's the one thing that everyone just discounts from SoFi's management, is that whenever they do push a product, they get success there. They've never had a failed campaign, like they push out a product, they see very, very consistent customer acquisition costs. And so right now they're pushing direct deposit relationships, which can lead to the highest amount of profitability that we've ever seen. What moat? I think the word moat is like, people have watched one Warren Buffett video or Peter Lynch, and they go, the only companies I'm going to invest in are companies with moats. Okay, well then never buy any single small or mid-cap company, because the only companies with large moats are the biggest companies and brands in the world that actually can defend their moat. Okay, What SoFi has is great execution, and there are small aspects of there in there that are hard to replicate. It's hard to replicate a technology platform. It's hard to replicate having a bank. It's hard to replicate having such an asset light business. Like, for example, they have a bank. There are many companies that also have a bank, but many of those other businesses that have banks have, branches and like financial centers and all of these things that cost millions of dollars to set up and millions of dollars to operate on an annual basis, security and all of these things. And maybe the assets under management that they're bringing in from those is not as high as the high margin business that SoFi can operate online. So I don't know. Does SoFi have an actual moat? But Noto isn't a moat. That's just an advantage. We have a great founder. Well, he's not even a founder. He's a quasi-founder. He took over early and has treated it like its own. He adopted SoFi. Okay. But SoFi would still call him his father. Okay. I mean, come on. They're not biological, but who took care of you? You know? Tanner, did you hit the gym today? I did not. I've been slacking. Yeah, they're the moat goat. SoFi's the moat goat. Yeah. A big daddy buyer. Chill, bro. This is a finance channel. I don't know if I know who that is. Let me Google them. I mean, I haven't seen this video, but supposedly this Jerry Romine, sorry, I just haven't seen this guy before, doesn't like SoFi. That's okay. I mean, we can potentially look at companies in different ways. And also, there's not been very many people who I have pitched SoFi on that haven't ended up purchasing the company. I pitched it to Amit. He ended up being a buyer. I pitched it to Jeremy Lefebvre. He ended up being a buyer. Maybe I need to talk to Jerry because maybe he's not looking at it the way that I would want someone to look at the business, which is in my opinion, the way that management has been trying to get Wall Street to look at the company for a long time. And I think that there's a lot of things that I'm missing in the company as well. So I continue to look, but yeah, I think that investing is like one of those things. If you look at the Warren Buffett approach of having a few hole punches, I think SoFi could definitely well be one of those names on my list that are very few, huge multi-baggers for me. And one that I'm just going to continuously iterate and iterate over, a 10, 20 plus year period. What's so funny is, I think this is the David Chiavrini, but for some reason it's just showing me the @. So I see Big Booty Keisha, but it's David Chiavrini. I love the the idea that that's his real YouTube channel. Okay. I'm not invested in SoundHound, no. Am I friends with Jeremy? I would say that we have a great relationship. I don't talk to him often. I haven't talked to him in a while. But yeah, he's not he's great. He's never treated me with any bit of disrespect or anything like that. I mean, he's definitely in the good books in my eyes. I got to go do some manual labor. That's what headphones are for, Paul. You go do the host tasks and you plug in, you listen. If I listened to Jerry, I wouldn't be up 344% on my SoFi investment. Boom. Mark Anderson with the big drop. I mean, that's awesome. 344%. That's just incredible. I was looking back on, so for my video tomorrow, there was a part where I end up talking about how I believe that SoFi is actively ramping up their growth, and that the company that you could see do this before was Robinhood. It just also happened. Now, I don't think SoFi is going to do this level of a run, but I do think that they will continue to have, they will be on a run. But Robinhood went up 10.6x since they started their 3% match for IRAs. And a lot of people clowned on them or talked poorly on Robinhood for doing such aggressive marketing. But the fact that they have such low or such low cost tech stack that's extremely fast, and they're automating a lot of processes that they made it work, and they made it actually very profitable. I also see this happening from SoFi. Every aspect of their business right now, they're ramping up cost of sales and marketing. And I think it's we're going to see a faster time between now and 1 million plus users per quarter than what I think most investors are assuming. Yeah. Hood, low integrity management, not investable in my opinion. Well, you missed, not investable. You missed out on a 10.6x since I bought back in Q1 of 2024 when we were much lower than, you know what I mean? What do you mean not investable? I'm actively it's one of the best purchases that I've made in my entire investing career, from having a 18-month run to being rich on the other side. I mean, come on, not investable. Any big dips coming, you think, Tanner? I don't try to make too many assumptions on that. I think that we have tailwinds right now, not headwinds. Trump can be, hard to predict, and that's the way that he likes it. So, of course, there are going to be things that he could end up doing and making the market uncertain about the future, so it ends up selling off, and we saw that on Liberation Day. But that I would call a black swan event, and good luck predicting a black swan event, because that's literally why it's called a black swan event. It's an unpredictable event. Yeah. We got to get the old video of me jumping. Dookie Pie just said, dip in my pool. But I got to get that old video of me jumping in the pool on SoFi Weekly. I jumped in a pool fully clothed because I lost a bet or something to Amit. It's back whenever Amit was actually a part of the SoFi Weekly. He was one of the hosts. Long time coming, man. It's crazy. Tanner, the real question is, will Steve ever buy Hood? I mean, dude, I have 100% confidence. It's without a doubt, in my opinion. I just can't bet on it, Because also, if I bet him that he's not going to buy it, well, then that's a financial incentive for him to not buy it. So that's hard for me to do. But yeah. Buy good companies and hold them for the long term. 100%, Jimmy. Let's see. I'm sending him a share. Yeah. He was told to buy it for 2025. He would have been up a ton, but he wasn't even allowed to sell it according to the game, that you had to hold on to the shares that the people purchase you for the Christmas stock games or the stock giving. But he sold it anyway. It's crazy. The two people who just broke the rules of the game are missing out. Tevis didn't buy Joby. He would have been up a ton. And Steve ended up selling his hood early and missed out on insane gains. Insane gains. So, moral of the story, buy and hold. Assuming that the company continues to do what you want. And by the way, guys, I want to say this, and I'm not trying to turn people sour. If SoFi starts to make me angry and I lose faith in what they're doing, I will end up turning around and selling the company. Now, it's not going to be on something small. If they even miss on earnings, but there was things to believe that it was just a small mistake that they can end up recovering from, that might not be a reason to sell. But especially, if they slow down on their product trajectory and these sort of things and are losing to competitors. I was getting really angry back then. And, Anthony Noto had to write that long, insane paragraph to defend his team, to say, hey, guys, you don't understand what's going on in the background. We're working as hard as we can, but there will be a reacceleration of product development into the future. I think that is, I don't know, something that I needed to chill on a little bit. But if they end up slowing down again, I guess I'll be picky. But then I need another tweet from Noto to get me back on track. But we're up like 100+% since he ended up putting out that tweet, which is nice. Steve does not have hood. He's not a buyer. He does not hold it. I just spoke with him yesterday. You ain't ever selling SoFi. I mean, maybe not, Savvy. Who knows? I hope I don't have to, but I'm not married to stocks. I'll stick with them as long as they continue to be freaking awesome. And I think so far that is going to be SoFi. I even think after Noto leaves, I think that Chris Lapointe could potentially take over as CEO. And that's also extremely capable management. And like, that would be exciting as well. I'm not selling SoFi legit forever. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that makes you look like a good investor, personally. Because, like, what if things go terribly wrong? You're just saying you're never going to sell them forever. And, there have been darlings of Wall Street that have underperformed. That has happened. I did with NVIDIA. NVIDIA's never made you upset. Marry more SoFi with this $9.99. Thank you so much. I will put that in the community fund right now. And let's get a community fund update, because it should have been quite a good day. SoFi up 5%. We should have quite the happy trading day today. Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, SBET only up 0.6%. We can't catch a break with this one right now. Still down roughly 39.88%. But I do have big, like, huge faith in SBET right now. I'm big on Ethereum. I've been watching a ton of Tom Lee, Vitalik Buterin, all these sort of different actors in the Ethereum space getting very bullish on it right now. So happy camper, holding SBET in my own portfolio. Piyush telling me to add Venture Global to the fund. Will do. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Do we have VG right now? Wait, why can't I? VG. We don't have VG? What? No one's given me VG? That's crazy. I'm very happy then, Piyush. I do appreciate that. By the way, coming up, we're only 1 month in, so probably by October 10th, we're going to do our performance update on this. Now, some people have said that, hey, you said you were going to hold this for a year, so don't sell it. So we said that we were going to sell people's positions if they were underperforming. The only thing that I'm also thinking there, I think that's a fair assumption to make. If you're going to donate money, you want whatever to happen out of that part of the investment. I get that. However, some people who have already donated have said, hey, you know what? That was a bad earnings. I was expecting good earnings, trim this. So I think maybe unless you guys still want us to cut some of those positions, then we won't end up doing it that way, and we'll only trim the positions that people who have actually donated those positions can make changes during that day. And we'll have people up on stream. Judge Tanner, you want Judge Tanner? I mean, that's what I wanted, but I got a bunch of comments, people saying like, hey, I donated for you to hold this stock. I'd appreciate it if you didn't sell it. But I don't know. You're down like 30%, bro. Like I'm going to have to pay, taxes on the full donation. And then, well, I guess I get a little bit back because I'm a net loss on that donation. So maybe I get a little bit back. Who knows? Move it to SoFi, or at least the stocks that I would want to actively buy in. Judge Tanner. You forgot to add my donation last week. I got a receipt for August 5th. Let's see. So there was a time when I was late to add in a bunch of those names, but we are caught up on a lot of those. Let's see if we have you in the list here for August 5th. Yeah, no, I don't have you in there. So I must have missed it, unless here, let me go through. Because there are some donations where I see, but then it's not clear to me that they wanted any single position, and they're just saying, hey, appreciate all that you do, or something like this. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not. Let's see. August 5th, you said, from. I actually do see it here. Yeah, more JP Morgan. Okay, I just screenshotted that. Okay, my bad. Appreciate you catching that. I absolutely will add it. And if that does happen again, by the way, I do have like YouTube keeps an entire list. So, there's no chance that I'm going to end up we can always go back and just double check and then add it later. So if I have done that, I apologize. And that, just let me know. Just wait till SoFi starts buybacks and dividends. It will happen. I'm a big believer that will happen. But by then, hopefully we are so much higher from here that the dividends will, honestly, I do think that there will be a day where the dividends make up for a large percentage of what my, cost basis was in my first buys, or I don't know. Tanner, how did you guys meet Steve? I read an article on Seeking Alpha from a guy named Steven Fiorillo, And then I messaged him and I said, hey, I like your article on SoFi, I think. Would you like to come on to the stream to talk about this position? And then he started going on YouTube channels. But I just cold DM'd him. I've cold DM'd so many people, and I'm always surprised that like no one or few people cold DM me. Yet I reach out to I remember whenever I was like a small YouTuber, I was reaching out to like every large account. And then some would say yes. And then I'd build up a relationship with those people and it helped the channel grow. And I'd get to learn from these better investors and all of these things. But then I see new YouTubers and stuff like this. And then they're like, they don't reach out as much as I would think that they would. Maybe I'm, sometimes it goes in my head. Maybe I'm not, doing very well. I don't know. Steve is the real deal. I agree. Good role model. Yeah. Because you're a boomer? No, it's networking is a big part. Like you can, I don't know, dude. What would I be doing on YouTube if I've never met Amit or Tevis or Roy or, any of these guys that we end up talking to all the time? And we probably have the best networker in the chat right now. I mean, Evan reaches out to everyone. You go on some of these spaces that he hosts, and it's like just constantly every single person that's been on X. But that's how I honestly think it should be done. Now send cold DMs to Elon Jensen and Andy Jassy. I don't think I'm ready for that, but yeah, it was funny. I remember Gergevin in or on X, and I met him in real life, and we were chatting and everything, and things were going really well, and he goes, "Oh, you should add me on or follow me on X." I was like, "No, I do." And then so he follows me back, and I was like, "Dude, please do not look at our DMs." And I have like the just cringiest like, hey man, been following forever. I have 4,000 subscribers on YouTube. Would love for you to come over and talk about your investing strategy. It's like, oh my god, bro. And now I'm sitting in front of him, the most embarrassing tweet or DM, but that it is what it is. Yep, Gerg did buy me and Amit foot massages in Toronto. It's true. Yeah, 4,000 now 44,000. I'm still small, but no, Gerg did not massage my feet. Let's not. We went to a place and he essentially just booked out the whole location, and it was just me, Amit, a bunch of his friends. It was honestly a freaking blast. It was an unbelievable night. Super fun. What would it take for you to go vegan? Studies that it was healthy. Yeah, meat so far looks like it's a healthy option for me. I understand that it's not everyone's forte, and I respect your decisions, but for me, animal protein is pretty healthy from what I read. Are feet vegan? No, quite not. Quite the opposite. Is there a video of that, Amit? I don't think so. Maybe some security cameras. What's so funny is on our way, so no one asked about this at all, but on our way to the massage place, Gerd goes, by the way, guys, it's not one of those places. And we were like, what, bro? Like he prefaced with like, this is a nice establishment, by the way. We're like, yeah, we assumed as much. What are you doing? Yeah, so it wasn't one of those places at all. Um, yeah. To be fair, Gerg was left there alone. We all traveled together, and Gerg ended up like falling asleep or something on the chair, and we were late to meeting up with some friends. So we ended up actually not Ubering, but yeah, just leaving without Gerg, and then he met up with us later. But yeah, his name's Gerg Gavin. Is a very very large financial YouTube or financial account on X, but he doesn't really. He just does X for fun. He has his own investing money and everything. Um, uh, Ravi, I apologize, but I disagree, my friend. I disagree. From what I've seen, there's a lot of malnutrition in and very, like extremely hard to get up the protein levels that you need on a vegan diet. I mean, I couldn't even imagine consuming what I'm trying to do, about a gram of protein per pound that I weigh in protein per day. I think that would be almost impossible on a vegan diet. I can't imagine that getting done. I'm aware you guys have a lot of, lentils and stuff like this. It's so, that would be so unbelievably hard. You need to consume a lot of pea protein, a lot of lentils. Not going to happen. Tofu and chickpeas. Yeah, but it's just not enough. It's not enough. No, I'm eating about 180 grams of protein a day. Gram of protein per pound that I weigh. 5'11", 181. It's honestly, I don't have, I'm not a very big guy. But yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but that doesn't fit into the vegan. That's yeah. I probably don't drink as much milk as Steve, but I do consume a lot of milk. That's for sure. I do a lot of like protein ice cream, which has been the biggest unlock for me recently. Get a Ninja Creamy, okay? You really only need like 4 ingredients. Get like some protein milk, some instant pudding, and then you can do like a scoop or 2 of whey protein, and then whatever type of flavor that you want to try to add to that. I like a nice monk fruit sweetener, little vanilla extract. You got yourself a party. Okay. It's awesome. It is awesome. Ninja Creamy. I will say it with zero hesitation. I own the stock. I own the I own every freaking appliance. I've got one right behind me right now, a Shark air purifier. Yeah, that's the ticker for Shark Ninja. I'll have to do a video on it. Maybe we'll do it this week if you guys want. They had an unbelievable earnings for Q2, so we can talk about that. You give 5.4. Everyone said, dude, Vlad said that to me. Amit said that. I think even Evan said that to me. And then they always say, oh, you're much taller than I would have thought. I think it's because maybe I'm low in the camera. I don't know. But like, I'm tall, sort of. I'm not 6 foot, but like, I'm not embarrassed to walk around 5'4". And if you guys are 5'4" in the chat, I mean, we respect a short king. Okay. I'm not 181 pounds. I'm not like some gigantic pounds, dude. 5'11", 181. I'm not 200 or 380 pounds. Yeah, of course, pounds. A kilogram is what? 2.2 pounds? Yeah, I'm not, I'm not 5'11", 380 something. You measure in pounds? Yeah, I'm a Canadian. We use pounds. I'm not I'm not hating on a short king. Why are you calling out Amit? Amit said that he thought that I was shorter in my videos. Is that a Canadian pound? Oh gosh, that's funny. I wish I was 6 feet, says Amit. Amit, you got a long way to go, brother. I'm sorry, brother. How many Celsius to pounds? That's an American trying to understand Canadian. So do you guys use kg then? I thought that was more like a UK thing. You guys use kg? I thought you guys were also pounds. We use like a mix. Honestly, I think it's because like a cultural thing that we use a big mix between metric and imperial. Only use kg on plates. We are the only ones. No. I never use kg. I always think of kg as like a UK thing. Like if there's any Europeans, I always have to translate thing to kg. But I think we use pounds because we're just who's leading in the stock draft? That's a good question. I mean, we already know the answer. It's Matt, but and the trade desk, man, I'm probably getting obliterated by that. But I picked well with other names, so I should be okay. Let's take a look here. Yeah, we're no longer doing as strongly. And service now, like all these, I would have put Salesforce in there as well. I'm glad I didn't. Holy crap. It's just been terrible picking some of these names. But overall, this is why I'm a long-term investor and not some short swing trader, because the companies that I pick, I think will do very well over time. Yeah, Mitt's doing very well across many of his names, and even the names that I was so worried that were like have already been extended and ran so much, just continue to run for him. Palantir now at 187, Hood at 114, bringing in great results there. AMD also doing very well. JP Morgan, yeah, pretty much good across the board. The only thing weighing him down, or else he would probably be in the lead, is Duolingo, which is crazy. Nebius was such a good snag. That's crazy. Steve missing out picking hymns and Salesforce right now. I recently got obliterated on the trade desk, which was actually doing like wonders for me, and then it quickly turned around. Service now not doing great. The Brazilian names also not doing very well, but obviously Nvidia is doing Nvidia things. Shopify, AppLovin, Coinbase, and TSM all double-digit winners. It'll be interesting to see by the end of the year. I don't know if the trade desk will turn around. I think whenever you find a company that is like Wall Street darling. It's okay for them to miss a single quarter. If they end up having disappointing earnings 2 quarters in a 3-quarter span of time, watch out. Okay, that does speak volumes for them and questions my position with the trade desk going forward. However, AppLovin, I've turned extremely bullish on, yeah. The also management is so well aligned with. We need to do DD Duo. Feels like it's your type of stock. I think to some degree it does. I have been thinking about doing due diligence on the fact that they did post such good earnings and it did end up turning, negative. Maybe that'll be the next company that I end up diving into. We're going to dive into a company every Friday. Last week's was Google, which was a little bit of an easy home run for me, but it also had passed $200 a share. So I was like, I need to talk about this. So much hate on this name, but yet it's running into potentially all-time highs very soon. We're only $4 away. So yeah, Duolingo could be on a list of stocks that I end up purchasing, especially after the earnings that we just saw. I like these sort of chess type products, everything like this. I don't know. I am amongst the list of people that do question if artificial intelligence will disrupt them. Now, many people say, no, it's not about translation. Translation tools are not the problem. It's learning, but I also don't think people need to learn something that is a solved problem. The same way that we don't have many people that are, knitting or doing leather work or something like they're solved problems. So, will people even need to learn a new language? Will that be something that people want to spend 1,000 days in a row on? Or would they just, wear glasses or put in headphones or something like this that might help with that live direct translation? Duo has 141 PE ratio. Well, saying PE on a company that's growing that fast is not like, you can find companies that are accelerating that fast that are in my portfolio as well. I don't know what their PEG ratio is, but that's also going to play a big factor. I could check that, I think. But yeah. Let's take a quick peek-see. Every time I see this thumbnail, I think he's interviewing Noto. Fall for it every time. It's just, I'm talking about, I promise you guys that if I'm interviewing Noto, it's not going to be SoFi stock closes at new highs. It's going to be real, no clickbait interview with Noto. Like, I promise you, I'll make it known. No, I just wanted you guys to know that a large percentage of the conversation will be surrounded by SoFi stock, which I'm happy to take any questions, anything like this about SoFi, because like I've said here many times, like I've said on other people's podcasts, like Amit's many times, is that I'm turning very bullish, and I think those same sort of aspects of like whenever you see Robinhood ramp on sales and marketing, that they ended up benefiting greatly from that growth, that whenever SoFi does it, I think that they could see similar levels of growth. It's just whether the market will appreciate it or not. But if they can start to bring on 1 million new members per product or per quarter, average revenue per user is climbing. The margin that they have on that user is like the margin that they have on that average revenue is also climbing as a percentage. I just don't see how that fails in any way. And I know what people are thinking, especially who haven't seen this channel before. That sounds like a lot of ifs. What I've shown off in this channel many of times, and you can watch any of my videos, even the latest deep dive on SoFi that I just uploaded the other day, is that these ifs are backed by a lot of consistent trends and data from quarters that we've seen prior. So It might sound like a lot of ifs, but to me, they're not even ifs. I'm not going to say any guarantees or anything like this, but SoFi tends, and when I mean tends, I mean so far it's been every single quarter they've done a beat on revenue, a beat on net income, and then they raise the guidance going forward and rinse and repeat. So that's why people like Josh in chat have like $7 million in this stock. And he's bold. You know what? You know what's great about someone like Josh having $7 million and the conviction that he does in this name is he sees a path to this stock going to $60 into the future, feels comfortable at 20, and knows that his 7 is going to turn into $21 million. Or, well, I mean, in his mind, I'm not going to suggest that that is a guarantee, but it's got to be a good feeling, you know? That's the great thing. You get great averages on these companies. You buy and you hold them. And it's the same conviction that I have for NVIDIA climbing past 200, Amazon going to continue to climb, Robinhood eventually getting to multiple hundreds of dollars per share. You got a good average. All you have to do is hold. And in order to get a good average, you need to buy a company that you know very well, and then don't sell to go buy something that you think is the next blank. Okay. I see this happen all too many times. And sometimes we pick on a commenter from time to time because they might have made these mistakes. But honestly, they're learning lessons. And most of the time, the people who are making these decisions are people who are much newer to investing than people who have already made those mistakes before. So what I mean is, I'm being kind of vague here. So let me clarify. There's many people who will buy SoFi at $15 and sell it at $17 because that's a profit. And then they'll take that profit and go run that into Big Bear AI because that's the next Palantir. And Palantir 20x people's profits. And they don't know Big Bear AI very well, but they feel like it's playing out a vision that's already been played out, which is large AI-based government contracts and large enterprise, and they have this expanding total addressable market that can get them into multiple different areas. Like, fine, I get that. But how well do you know management? How well do you know the product? What actually differentiates them from, the stocks that have worked, And so for like SoFi, I do know how these products work. We've consistently looked into it. I have an average. If I sold, I'd make a nice clean profit. And if it jumps back down to $7 today, I would have missed out on all those gains, other than the covered calls that I've written recently on the stock to take profits on me holding it. Taking advantage of the prices that I'm holding it at. Sorry, I should say. But if you want a 10x, you have to uncomfortably hold the stock at 3x's, 5x's, 8x's, knowing that you could rotate that into a smaller name that hasn't ran yet, but your conviction on those names is not like, there's a real margin of safety to knowing a company very well. And it's hard to know a name. It's hard. It takes a long time. We've been studying SoFi for long periods of time. I've had very many bears on the channel. I've had very many bulls on this channel to explain to me what I'm missing. I'm not from, an investing banking background. I don't know lending the way that, these lifelong investors know how to read bank balance sheets. I don't. But I'm learning from them. And really, if there is going to be a problem, usually those red flags get highlighted over the many years that I've been covering a stock. And for SoFi, I know them very well. I've heard the bull cases and the bear and bull cases on everything that people have to say about SoFi. And so I feel very comfortable holding it at this 3x, wanting the 10, but I'm not going to cut my flowers and water my weeds. I'll make mistakes. Like I want other 10x's eventually as well, and I'll do that with new money, right? But and also I have got a thing about, everyone talks about 10x's. That's not a time to sell, by the way. 10x, obviously, that's great. 14x sounds a lot better. So there's this weird point whenever you start to get to these milestones that you would have assumed for stocks, like, oh, SoFi to 20, SoFi to 20, SoFi gets to 20, and then you're like, okay, now what? There's so many lessons that I have to talk about that, and what I think, like, and by lessons I don't mean guarantees like I have the answers, but just the way that I think about those concepts. But yeah, I'm all over the place tonight, and I apologize. Never water your weeds. Yeah, the problem is there's sometimes where you think something's a weed and then it blooms. Okay. Carvana, kind of weird. Like, it happens from time to time where you actually don't realize the beauty in these bankrupting companies. But that's those few times that does happen allows for people to speculate on the thousands that don't, and end up getting people burnt all the time. Um, Tanner's got old man wisdom. Yeah, because people go, "Oh, you're quoting Warren Buffett." It's like, yeah, bro, who do you think I've like learned from? I mean, I don't know. The guy tells you what books to read. He tells you what videos to watch. He, like, and then you watch him and you go, "I'm not going to listen to that. I'm going to do what I'm going to do." Like, are you out of your mind? People say you can't put an old head on young shoulders, but if you just try, maybe you can try to learn a couple lessons. And now I go against some of the things that he says, against what Peter Lynch has said about, potentially even avoiding technology companies. But I just don't think that was their era. Obviously, technology companies, knowing now, has been, the biggest area to invest in, and will always be the area that I invest in, probably till the day I die. Will be forwarding technology and these sort of things. Yeah. Why listen to Buffett when you can YOLO zero DTE options? I mean, it's true. It's true. You see those people from time to time, but I just find it very hard to find billionaires in day trading or options trading, or these types of investing styles that are not so common. People that feel that they've broken the game, or have solved something that other people can't see. There are rich people in that game. But I do think that some strategies have come out of the, like, for example, social arbitrage and stuff like this, these types of styles, I actually do think have real, like, it is qualitative analysis. I believe that much more, because social media actually allows you to gauge, it's essentially real live surveying, right? You can see what people are using, like that is data that qualitative analyst would use. So social arb I do believe in, but other things, when you're trying to understand a chart and that stocks are going off the line, like, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that that would be pricing in what management is doing, how strong the founder is, the asset light business, the shifting of the business going from, maybe in SoFi's case, an asset heavy business to now a more fee-based driven business. What does the astrology signs in technical analysis tell you about that? Like, maybe it does, but that would blow me away. Why don't you show the chat on screen anymore? It's me, honestly, just forgetting. It's up. Tanner, what would make you buy HIMS? Probably nothing. It's not an area that I know. And now, honestly, I feel extremely vindicated. Like, there have been a lot of shifting details in that company that have made me realize that I would not have seen any problems coming in. I don't like healthcare. I don't know it very well. So, yeah. I'm all good. What headwinds is having new trade, like poop? Actually, wait, I think I have a button for that. There we go. Trump bad-mouthing Brazil or what? I don't get why it can't get past 15. Yeah, I mean, potentially Trump tariffs, if he's going to raise tariffs extremely high. That's going to be a big part. It makes the Brazilian population that are buying U.S. products, have to spend a little bit more. That would suck for the Brazilian consumer. It makes people question the Brazilian real, which is the currency that, Nubank operates in. And then the strength of the US dollar can also make problems for Nubank. So it'll be interesting to see the quarter that they end up putting up. We'll have to see. Are you going to buy more SoFi? I'm actively buying more SoFi. Anytime I get a little bit of money, I'm buying SoFi with it right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've turned once again. I don't personally use SoFi. I'm in Canada. I'm a Canadian, so I don't have access to the products, or else I probably would. The products that I use here in Canada are very similar to SoFi. So, yeah. That's all from me. This is a 30-minute show, and we did an hour and a half. So that's a very special moment. But you guys are freaking awesome. I see the familiar faces that come in every day, or whenever you guys, have the opportunity to give me your attention. It's just such a blessing. I literally would not be here without you guys. So you guys have allowed me to, live my absolute dream. There's some things where people say that YouTubing is a hard job. It's not at all. I mean, what would be hard would be getting up every single morning and commuting to work. Working from my office at home is an unbelievable blessing. And I just appreciate it every day, guys. I end work happier than when I started it. And I think that's rare for many people. So I just want to say thank you. Until tomorrow, when we have more news, thank you so much. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Bye for now.